dear viewers, welcome to Primetime News on Delhi TV. First, the headlines. Prime Minister, Head of Government of Cameroon, Philemon has called on his authorities to make sure that they respect travel bans to be laid down on all the authorities of this country. He also used the opportunity during the last cabinet meeting that took place in Yaoundé to call on the various authorities to respect bilingualism as prescribed by the National Commission for Multiculturalism and Bilingualism of Cameroon. Second on our headlines, 81-year-old Winnie Mandela, former wife of former late President Nelson Mandela of South Africa, has just passed away at the age of 81. She is known and will be remembered to have played a very great role in the fight against apartheid in this country a few years back. Cameroon's Prime Minister and Head of Government, Philemon has called on all the authorities in the various ministries to make sure that they lay serious travel bans on all their authorities, this in order to safeguard loss of money and many other things. He also used this opportunity to call on them to make sure that they respect bilingualism as prescribed by the National Commission for Multiculturalism and Bilingualism in Cameroon. The details in the following report. Cameroon's Prime Minister and Head of Government, Philemon has instructed members of government to categorize missions abroad at all administrative levels in strict compliance with the provisions of the decree of the 13th of March 2018, which amends and supplements the decree of 13th September 2000 to lay down travel regulations for all employees. The Prime Minister made the statement during the March 29th cabinet meeting attended by the Vice Prime Minister, Ministers of State, Ministers, Minister Delegates and Secretaries of State. The Head of Government ordered his statement by prescribing the implementation of measures to reinforce the practice of bilingualism in the public administration as prescribed recently by the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism in Cameroon. The newly appointed Minister of Interior of Cameroon, Paul Atanganji, has paid a visit to some divisions of the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon, this in a bid to bring a message of hope, peace and reconciliation. Details in the following dispatch. After the recent cabinet reshuffle in Cameroon, skepticism dominates Cameroon's English-speaking areas even after the visit of the newly appointed Interior Minister, Paul Atanganji. The minister visited Boya and Kumba in the southwest region, as well as Bamenda and Batibo, two sub-regions in the northwest region of Cameroon. He said last Tuesday that he was bringing a message of dialogue to the restive southwest Anglophone region, where the angry mob has been fighting some separatists. He also met resistance from some bike riders who believe that his visit was not wanted at this point in time, and it was like he was making a mockery of them. This visit comes a long way, according to the minister, to bring peace and calm in these two regions that have been perturbed by political instability recently. Images of the Easter Eve celebration at the Kondegi Maximum Prison of Yaoundé are still streaming in the social media as many top government officials incarcerated in this place were seen commemorating the resurrection of Christ Jesus with a message of hope, peace and maybe freedom one day. Details in the following report. Kondegi Maximum Prison. Basil Atanganakuna, Cameroon's former water and energy minister, and other top government officials held over on an anti-corruption crackdown have been shown in a video commemorating Easter in prison. Journalists tweeted screen grabs of Basil Atanganakuna, Guinea Efa, Mendoze and Jean-William Solo, all in suits, taking part in a mass on the eve of Easter at the Kondegi Maximum Security Prison located in the capital of Cameroon, Yaoundé. The three other detainees are the former Ministry of Public Works official and the ex-rector of the University of Douala. These images have, however, been greatly criticized by some people who think these people were not to be exposed that way, given the fact that they are also officials of the country despite being incarcerated. The former wife of late South African President Nelson Mandela, Winnie Mandela, has passed away. She died at the age of 81 after a protracted illness in hospital in South Africa. Winnie Mandela will be remembered for her very strong fight against apartheid in South Africa. Details in the following report. Winnie Mandela is no more. Former wife of late South African President Nelson Mandela has just passed away. Winnie Mandela died at the age of 81 this Monday, the 2nd of April 2018, after a protracted illness at a hospital in Johannesburg, South Africa, as declared by a communique from her family spokesperson, Victor Dlamini. Born on the 26th of September 1939 in Cape Town, she became a figurehead in the fight against apartheid during Mandela's 27 years that he spent in prison, to the point of being imprisoned several times herself for violent speeches and accusations levied on her former husband, who died a few years after leaving prison.
I honestly cannot put in words how hurt the family was, and it was one of the most insensitive things for anyone.
On this note, we come to the end of the presentation of this news bulletin on Daily TV. We thank you very much for being with us. I hope to see you again, or to have you again online next week. In the meantime, a recap of our headlines. Prime Minister Head of Government Philemon Yang of Cameroon has called on his government officials to lay down travel regulations for all authorities of the various ministries of Cameroon. He has also used the opportunity during this cabinet meeting to remind all these authorities of the need of bilingualism in all their services. Secondly, Winnie Mandela is no more. Former wife of late President of South Africa died in a hospital in South Africa at 81 years old. She will be highly remembered for her anti-apartheid fight in South Africa. Thank you very much for your faithful attention. We shall be together again next week.